Hi folks, a little while ago I made an effort to try and record the second solo in Hammer to Fall, the one that you hear in the album version, and the Headbangers mix. So here's how far I got. Okay, and this is where I am now. Okay, so what did I do that was so different on the guitar side? Well, first of all, I'll just show you the Amplitube preset that I'm using. It's reasonably simple. It's basically just the 2 amps up on full. I have chorus feeding 1. And in terms of a cabinet, I'm actually not using the Brian May cabinet from Amplitube Brian May. I'm using their stock Vox cabinet, which I have put Celestian Blue speakers into. In terms of microphones, I'm actually just using this one condenser here and a very generous amount of the room ambience, which is the small studio setting. I'll make this patch available for download. Now, on its own, it's not a very remarkable patch, but we did something that was a little bit off the beaten track. This is T-Rex Master Match. It's one of IK Multimedia's mastering plugins, and how it works is you can put some audio into the top bar here, and the plugin learns what this audio sounds like in terms of its equalization and its levels and its dynamics. Then you can feed some of your own audio into it, and then it looks at the difference and it'll match the two. So what I did was I set up my patch and did a take of the rhythm guitar, but I used a stem from the original recording of Hammer to Fall to analyse what the difference was in terms of the sound between the two. And I got a curve not dissimilar to this one. And I then hopped back into Amplitube, and I used Amplitude's own equalization software piece to try and get my sound more like the curve that was presented to me from the analysis of the original track. So basically I've EQ matched the stem, if you like, of the stereo guitars in Hammer to Fall, and it sounds pretty good. I mean, on its own it doesn't sound like much. I'll just solo it so you can hear it. That one's slightly cleaner, but what happens is if you overdub that 2 further times, you get something that sounds quite big. Now, the 3 separate takes, but each sound is slightly different. As I say, the first one is slightly cleaner, one has a bit more room ambience, and another one has a bit more bass and a bit more grit in the sound. But together, they make a fairly big enough racket. So that's Master Match. Now, when I had matched all of those together and I had recorded the bass, the final thing I did was to master the track, and I used 2 IK Multimedia plugins for that. One is this one, TR1, and it's kind of a mastering suite in one plugin. So you've got your different ways of managing the stereo fields, compression, and some EQ tools for adding air and body and focus and bass punch and that type of fun stuff. So I used a preset from that Radio Rock, and I kind of tweaked it around a bit just to get it somewhere as close to my ear, at least, perception of the original. So when I put that on, now this will just seem a bit louder. So it's a great plugin, it kind of gets you there. But the last thing I did was I used Master Match again, using the original recording of the whole band playing the song on that section. And as before with the guitar sound, it found the difference between my mix and my mastering and the original. and brought mine a little closer. It's not bang on to the original, so just once again, this is what you get in the end. Yeah, so this is very dweeby stuff, but it still doesn't quite sound like the original, and there's loads of reasons why that isn't the case. In the first instance, I suppose, I'm not Brian May, I can't play like Brian May, I didn't know how he felt on the day, what he had for his breakfast that day. It's all stuff that adds up. The second thing, of course, is that my drummer doesn't have the same kit that Roger Taylor used. There's a whole lot of stuff, but this sounds pretty good, and it does sound pretty close. And it's a nice sort of approach if you were trying to really get the studio sound down absolutely perfect. So that's Master Match, and obviously TR5 I'll leave those presets available for downloads, but if there's any questions, just let me know.